Please welcome to the stage Y Brand's ACD Creative Content and Operations, Chris Harrelson, Edelman SVP Gabe Michael, Truc SVP and Head of Creative Technology Filip Williander, and Monk's Chief Innovation Officer Henry Cowling.
Hello. Nice to meet you all. I'm Henry, Chief Innovation Officer with Monks, where I spend most of my time advising our clients, some of the world's largest marketers, on AI marketing transformation. If you would like my point of view, I think artificial intelligence completely refactors everything from how brands go to market to the kind of stories and experiences that they deliver when they get there. We've heard a lot of really great talks today, but I think we're still living in the gap between the promise of AI and the reality of bringing this technology into our organizations and putting it to work there. So on the panel today, we have three people who are living and breathing and wrestling with that tension every day in their own unique organizations. We have Filip Williander, who leads creative technology at Truc, which is part of Publicis. So Filip will let you know that he is helping to transform a creative organization of 120,000 people. So I'm sure you can imagine some of the scar tissue that goes with that.
Yep.
We have Gabe Michael, who is a filmmaker and an innovator and is acting really, I think, as a change agent inside of world-famous global PR firm Edelman, where he effectively has built, I don't know if he would take credit for this personally, but has built the AI production capability effectively from scratch and is bringing that methodology into that organization. And we have Chris Harrelson, who's representing the brand point of view from Y Brands, where he leads creative content and operations for brands that you may know of, like Munchkin. And I think in that respect, he brings a perspective which is unique because he is marketing in a category, in an environment where trust is a very, very high premium because he's marketing to parents. All right, gentlemen. I think any AI transformation has to begin with some kind of a mindset shift. At least that's my observation. And I think we as change agents, and I hope you won't mind me referring to you folks like that, we have to go through our own mindset shift. So I'm curious, what sacred cows have you sort of left behind? What creative habits are you no longer doing because of AI that maybe were relevant to you 6 or 12 months ago?
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually have two things that are sort of connected there, where one, like as a creative, you always want to like protect your idea. You only want to show the client when you're like, oh, they're 100% gonna get it. It's perfect. I've thought of everything. That is something that I've actively tried to let go because utilizing AI tools now, I can get 60, 70% of the way there, honestly, in minutes. And I can show that immediately and they can react to it. And then I can, from there, like go and keep making it. Because like showing something too early costs me nothing, but working on something for 2 weeks that they're gonna hate costs 2 weeks. So that's one of the things for sure. And the other one is just like not necessarily asking for permission anymore. Because if you keep asking what the client wants, they don't really know. But if you just build it and give them a prototype,
yeah,
they can actually react to something and be like, oh, actually, this is great. Oh, we should do this and this and this. And now you're co-creating, which makes everything easier.
Is there like a flip side to that though, where you end up like iterating and iterating? Like when does the work stop?
Yeah, I mean, that is honestly going to be the skill that I think every creative person needs to work on going forward, because with AI tools right now, like a new version is like 15 seconds away. So knowing when like, no, I've actually reached the quality that I want, this is the vision I had, I don't need to generate 4 more versions, That's going to be something that I think people are going to have to train a lot.
Training on saying no. Chris, did you want to jump in?
I guess, when is the work ever complete? I know for myself, I finish a project and I'm like, oh, but I can keep doing this, So, and being in the position I'm in, I have to set the deadline. The work is done here, and that's the hardest point, It's the hardest part of it is putting the pens down. To Filip's point, it's, really being able to get those concepts out so quickly that you can get sign-off, you can get buy-in a lot easier. And I find that with younger designers are able to actually scale up, right? They can go beyond their level very easily and share their concept. So it's an interesting time to be in.
But you're the client, right? So you get you get to say when enough is enough. The folks on the service side maybe don't get to draw that line in the sand.
Hey, it's the career path I've chosen. So I guess it is what it is.
You made some better choices back in the day. Right. Gabe, what have you had to give up or change?
I don't think I've given anything up, but I've changed from the how to the why. So we go, it's like there's process in everything that we've done in production from, it's been standards. Production's easy if you know, for the most part, what you're doing. There's people in certain positions. I think now changing it from not how are we going to do something, but why are we doing it in the way that we're doing it, and then how do we build around that? And it's really hard to plan and scale on that right now because the models change and the capabilities change every single day. But the skills that we bring to the table are there, and they've been there. We just have to find new ways to kind of retool them. So I'm trying to leave that kind of old system behind, but everybody is still playing on the old system.
Yeah. All right. So saying no and the shift from how to why.
Yes.
Two good themes. All right, Filip. I sometimes think there's a challenge with AI. I'm sure everyone in this room is using AI, right? Everyone in most companies are using AI for some parts of their work, but they're using it in a way that often is disorganized. They're using their own instance or their own subscription. They're sharing data who knows where. I think there's a danger sometimes that we are just accelerating and amplifying chaos or ingraining ways of working, but just doing it more so with AI. Are you thinking about that in the context of your role at Publicis at all? Are you trying to get people to think differently and work differently, or just accelerating old ways of working?
It's a combination of both. One of the things that we're currently working through within Publicis is obviously, again, we have 120,000 people. We're in 100-something countries across every major market, and each individual agency, each market is doing things slightly differently. So how can we standardize that to something that is sort of respective of what is Publicis Group, and then how can each agency tie into that, but with their own unique perspective?
Right.
Because otherwise, if you don't have a very clear vision and a reason for what you're doing, again, going back to the why, AI, if you're just using AI to use AI, it becomes a race to the middle because it's always going to give you what is the safest option, more or less. So you need to have that point of view that makes it interesting.
And the middle is still aspirational for some marketers.
True.
Chris, do you I think sometimes that there maybe has never been a better time to be an innovation forwards, agile, I don't want to use the word small because you're not small, but agile, fast-moving brand that leans heavily on sort of D2C type channels because you can get more done. And I think because you can move at the speed of culture in a way that maybe other marketers would struggle to do. I wonder if you've had that experience, and that strikes me as the upside. Is there a downside from pulling some of the friction out of creative and content production?
No, I think, the rapid response is one of the benefits of AI. We can react to cultural moments much faster. If my boss calls me in the morning and says, hey, this happened today, we can react to it really quickly. The benefit of our organization as a whole is, I have a direct line to my boss, who's the chief brand officer. I also have a direct line to the CEO. And we're able to act so quickly. And with like a tool like Runway or, other AI tools, you can iterate so quick, and you can put in a prompt that gives you these variables, and then you can pick and choose the best one and send 3 or 4 to the top immediately to get approval on one of them, or they'll switch something. I haven't seen personally a downside to it. I think there will be at some point in time because it is never ending. Yeah. I think me personally, I get stuck in the AI rabbit hole on the weekends, not when I'm at work, to keep iterating on an idea. But today, I think it's that direct content, that rapid response that you can really just lean into and run with in a brand.
Yeah, I think that's an enormous opportunity for advertisers, and if you're able to leverage these toolings to accelerate how you go to market, it means you can be more relevant when you get there. Gabe, I just found out Gabe is also an educator. He teaches at the UCLA, but I've heard you mention the need to educate clients. Yes. On your ways of working, right? I think of this journey towards AI content creation as a journey that we're taking together with our clients a lot of the time. Like, how do you find that dynamic? And have you ever had a client say no to something just because it's made with AI?
Yes, because they don't understand the process. Right. But when you go in and you actually tell them the process and say, like, this is everything that we're doing we're using AI in this fashion, like just to replicate this background for this shoot. And this is what's going into it. We've done all this research. We brought our own photographer out. We're setting the stage. We're using assets that we own. They become much more comfortable with it. But I think overall there's a big misunderstanding, especially at Edelman, because we are PR and marketing first, of what is like a creative AI use and what is like a productivity use. Yeah. And that's like where I always start. It's like, okay, what do you actually want to do, and how can I help? Going and finding the right path to do that.
And I guess like there is a reputation management component
Yes.
to using AI, because I think of AI as not just a technology choice for a brand to make, but it's also, it says something about the brand if they're prepared to use that technology or not, and how they use it reflects on the brand. And we've seen some brands encounter cultural pushback
Yes.
for particularly when they've used it badly. Right. I might say, if there's obvious errors, I think there's a relatively small but quite vocal minority of people out there looking for branded content that they can call out for using AI.
Right. I think people want to use it, they treat it as an aesthetic, like we're going to give it AI and make fun of it. But now it's getting to the point where you can't do that. It's getting so good, the output and the fidelity that's coming out of it so you really have to lean into the storytelling aspect of it. Yeah,
I think you're right. It's almost impossible to tell it apart, particularly with solutions like Runway. Thank you very much for having us. And the economics of using it are just so hard to argue with it. It seems almost inescapable that we're all moving in this path, so we have to make the best choices that we can along the way. I've had a few conversations today about the impact of AI on talent. I wonder if any of you guys have thought about that specifically. Like, one of the things that often comes up is this idea that we are becoming more generalists because AI enables people to have specialist skills that previously they might not have had the opportunity or the talent to learn. Do you think we're all becoming generalists now, Filip?
To some extent, but I think we're entering the world where specialists are actually going to be more valuable and powerful than ever. And I don't mean like, you could have a specialist that like, oh, I only do Photoshop and I won't touch anything else. Yeah, that's gonna go away. But if you are someone who like truly understands creative, you truly understand like photography, then AI tools now can actually like supercharge that in a very good way, because like if I'm prompting for an image, I don't know like half the things that a real photographer would do, and they would be able to like explain the lighting in detail and the focal length and like the f-stop and everything to a degree where most people just saying, give me an image of a tree.
Hey now.
Yeah, so.
Good looking tree.
Very good looking tree. No, so I think like the actual like speciality of having that deep understanding is something that is just becoming more and more valuable, because when everyone can prompt for anything, it is the specificity and the creative vision that you can put into your prompt that becomes the selling point.
Nice.
I think that we're moving towards a realm of you have 2 to 3 core skills that you can focus on. Like because it is becoming more general, and right now we're in a weird skill gap across the market, and so we're trying to actively educate our people and upskill them.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to see the people that were like very highly skilled or pigeonholed into one career path, and now go, oh, I've never actually created a film. I've been a designer. I've only worked in Illustrator my whole life, but now I have all this opportunity to explore. And now we're giving them the space and the opportunity to play and expand with the AI tools. And we're just seeing some amazing output.
Really?
Yeah, and we've actually measured our designers only. It's at Edelman. And since we brought on Runway as our lead creative partner, our designers are 5 times more efficient, get 5 times the more work done, and are not working a day, a minute longer. And they're loving it because they are being able to play around with new styles, try new things, and experiment. Sweet. So it's like the creative atmosphere that it is creating and is present with us is like I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah, on the in-house side, I think, I always grew up a generalist because I had to. There wasn't an opportunity to have a retoucher or, a compositor doing things, and I see in-house where it's actually helping. And I think having some sort of general skill set is amazing to have, especially in AI. Instead of somebody waiting 3 days to get a retouched image, they can have that in 3 minutes, as long as they know what they want. It can't take away the idea that there is a creative behind it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you have to know where you want to go and the result you want. But it, like Gabe was saying, it allows this opportunity for somebody who's just a designer to explore well beyond what they've been provided in an employment opportunity. So they can actually level themselves up and have a skill set that they never thought they could have, rather than just being pigeonholed to one single thing.
So we can do more, and we can be more productive, potentially 5 times more productive. You heard it here first, which makes me think about the commercial side of it. Like, I guess, serious question, but like how open question. In your experience, how are marketers and brands thinking about the commercials of AI? Is the budget for this kind of innovation coming from traditional production budgets that's just moving over into more innovative technology workflows? Are they seeing it as new ventures, or like how are these projects happening?
It's a little all over the place.
Right.
There's a lot of interest, obviously, a lot of interest in anything creative AI. But then I think there's a big misconception on what they're asking. We have some people, and this is both internal, external, things like that. They come to us and they'll say, "What we want to create this thing." I'm like, "Well, AI is not the right tool for that. Like, go and actually hire an animation team to do that. That's what you want to do." And then we also see that there's some people that are extremely educated, they come in and they say, "Yes, we want to do this. We're going to give you pretty much the same budget that we would give you." Not only for your creative team, but for the production. But we want you to do this, and we want you to do more. Yeah. So that, because that's where it's like when you do it once, you're like, okay, now I can scale this. So it's really about like working on more.
It quickly becomes the expectation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think in-house, it's really, budget can be split, right? So with Runway, we're splitting that between multiple teams. I have, the brand design, which is graphics team, photo, video as well, and then we have members of industrial design because we're CPG and we're making products. So it's shared across, and then marketing as well might be utilizing it for a pitch deck. So the organization as a whole is splitting it fairly and recognizing that everybody can be using it, and actually are encouraging everyone to use it. Our CEO tells us in town halls that if we're not using AI, we're not doing our jobs properly.
Nice.
Right? Because he sees where it's going, and we're an innovative company, and so we need to be on the ground floor of innovation.
I like that. I like that framing of it. That's the kind of edge that I'm seeing in a lot of the clients that we're working with as well, where it's gone from the experimentation phase to being a mandate to unlock the value of this technology, because the value of it is really hard to argue with. Although I do still encounter pushback. I do still encounter reticence. Someone described it as silent sabotage, where there is maybe an unwillingness to adopt some of this tooling in some quarters, but I find that is increasingly isolated to individuals, and as a whole, most people are leaning into it right now.
Yeah, I think as the technology matures also and it gets better and better, like people will reject it less and less because it will objectively help the way you work. Like one of the things that we within like Publicis or any major kind of holding company is or client is struggling with a lot of times is that, you know, when you make an ad, the global marketing team, they get like $4 million and they go out and they shoot something and it's amazing. But then when you're working, you know, the little marketing team in Sweden, you get that file and like $2,000 and it's like, make it work. You
don't get to sit in an edit suite eating sushi for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And like with that, usually what happens is that, oh, they just dub it quickly and you can tell like this was a German ad, but all right. But now with the tools that we're making and that we have now, it actually allows the marketing, like the global team can still do that, but it's not a fixed file anymore. It is a template where, you know, the brand truth and everything, like that will be fixed, but you need to change the background, you need to change the characters, you need to change the setting, the cultural insight. You can do that to adapt it to any kind of local market, and it's not gonna break the bank, which is...
I think I got to wrap us up there. More better content creation pushed to more places and more people in our organizations. A very optimistic point of view on the AI revolution from our friends. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.